What's up, everybody? How you doing? And welcome. My name is Lord PeteyTV, and I'm here to give you what our affixes are going to be looking like and what is going to be happening for week 17 of our Mythic Plus dungeons. In addition to that, I am going to give you a little bit of an informational data mined update, I guess you can say, of what's going on in the Mythic Plus world right now. So, first thing what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to tell you there's going to be no video today, because I'm going to be showing you straight up where I get a lot of my information. But not only that, but I'm also going to give you information about what's going on in the WoW world. All right, first of all, let's get the Mythic Plus stuff done out of the way, and then after that, we'll go into everything else. So, our Mythic Plus 2 affixes are going to be Ascent this week. So, what does that mean? So, Ascent is when orbs appear every minute while in combat, and they have to be interrupted, purged, knocked, crowd control, or something to get off of the mobs that they're all coming in and close on. If they end up hitting those mobs, they end up doing this stacking movement speed and haste debuff, and it really is not a good thing to have for your groups. So it is really not efficient and effective. The next thing we're going to end up talking about is we're going to end up telling you that it is going to be a tyrannical week, which means for Affix 4, tyrannical means bosses are going to have more health and they're going to deal more damage. So be careful of that. As always, Challenger's Peril is 7, which means 90 seconds after the key starts, deaths will cost more and they will be doing more damage. So you have to be careful of that. And then the last thing that you're gonna, well, not last thing, but then you have your level 10 affixes, which is going to be your fortified, which means non-boss enemies are going to have 20% more health. They're going to deal more damage to you, so you have to be very much careful with that. And the last thing you're going to get is Zealot's Guile on your level 12, which means the flat rate of your HP. So be careful of what you're doing. Make sure you get something that can CC those mobs. See what you can do. It seems like almost every single class has something that can be done to CC a mob and to be helpful, so keep an eye on that and kind of go through that safely. Now, that stuff, I could sit there and I could talk about it. It's week 17. We figure that there's going to be probably about 8 weeks left in these keys because usually it ends at 24 weeks-ish. So if you're looking to change your classes or do anything, now's the time to do it, and you'll be good to go. So we're more than halfway done. We're about 2/3 of the way done. So it's going to be a very interesting rest of the season. The next thing that we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about the data mined information that has been coming up for all of the Mythic Pluses. Hopefully my computer doesn't crash with what's happening. So, excuse me. And we're going to talk about that right here. The first thing we're going to end up talking about is right here. War Within Season 2 Dungeon testing schedule of how they're going to end up bringing in the dungeons and how things are going to go. So Season 2 Dungeon is going to be starting this week on PTR. The test period will begin on Tuesday, January 7th, and then ending January 14th. So it's going to be a week long. For Season 2, the War Within, they're going to be refining the testing, feedback, balancing PTR alongside the daily rotation of affixes for 2 and 12 key levels. Each week, we'll spotlight a subset of Season 2 dungeons for focused testing. Week 1 is Operation Floodgate. Week 2 is the War Within Dungeons, which is Meadery, Cleft, Priory, and Rookery. 3 is the Legacy Dungeons, which is Operation Mechagon Workshop, Motherlode, Theater of Pain. And then week 4 is War Within Dungeons and Operation Floodgate. And then lastly, Legacy Dungeons, Operation Floodgate. And week 6 will be all Season 2 dungeons. So the affix update, they're going to be creature buffs for all of Zal. Unified creature buffs on all of Zealot's Bargains affixes, with Zealot's Gifts increasing damage up to 50% and reducing damage taken up to 100% for 20 seconds on all nearby creatures in combat. So the new Zealot's Bargain is going to be Pulsar While in combat, Zolotaf summons Pulsar that orbits players and must be intercepted within a time limit. This affix replaces Oblivion. Okay. Zolotav's Skyle is going to be redesigned. Now causes keystones above level 12 to increase health and damage of enemies by 12% per level instead of 10% per level. Going to make things over 12 going to be a lot harder. Voidbound. Dark Prayer is no longer a channel, and the Void Emissary no longer grants damage reduction to creatures while active. Dark Prayer now has a 15-second cast time and grants all nearby enemies in combat with Zolotav's gift while it's finished casting, when it finishes casting. The potency of Zolotav's gift granted by Dark Prayer is based on the remaining shield's percentage of the Void Emissary. Keystone Legend, obtaining a rating of 2850. Lindemir will offer players a quest that prevents Keystone level 12s and above from being reduced below 12 for the remainder of the season. Players can still speak to Lindemir to lower the Keystone level. This function includes Keystone level decay from the Great Vault. During the playtest period, you'll be able to acquire and customize Keystones by talking to the vendor in Stormwind or Orgrimmar or Orgrimmar. Oh my god. I've been playing this game for almost 20 years. I can't say. I'm so tired I can't even speak. And the nearby teleported. Okay. That's pretty good information there. Okay, upcoming Liberator this Friday. So this is going to be the raid testing for Friday for all of the bosses. Heroic. Exchange. Normal full raid except Gillywex. Mythic will be Thursday the 23rd, Friday the 23rd. Raid Finder. There we go. But this is pretty open. Orgrimmar and Stormwind. It's gonna be interesting. There's the raid testing, and it's gonna be scheduled to start 10th. So that's this Friday, and it's gonna be going essentially until the 24th. That's gonna be interesting. Data mine changes to Dark Flame Cleft. First boss getting changed. Damage increase. Damage reduced. They're changing pretty much everything. That. Okay. Trash and things like that. Cedar Mead Brewery. Trash is getting reduced. These. Rowdy Yells, gotta have to be careful of. This is going to be a killer for people. Damage reduced, damage reduced. This, I think, is going to be one of your dungeons. Damage reduction by the uppercut. Damage and shield reduced. I think Cedar Mead Brewery might actually be a lot easier than we were expecting. Trash. Lightning bolts are going to be increased. Look at this. Energized Barrage is now 3 seconds. targeted channel and does 75% less damage per tick and ignores line of sight. Gotta be careful of that. 4-7 boss. First boss. New grounding bolt strikes enemy's location. The grounding bolt inflicting damage to all enemies within the yards. And then the pool of lightning that inflicts damage. The enemies, you're gonna have to use it to rotate around the room. Dodge. It's a tempest that crashes down on players, inflicting damage to all players. Damage reduced, but hits all players. Now lasts 2 minutes was 1. Voidstone Monasteries would have gotten a full rework. First, once you break the shield, the stun lasts twice as long and increases the damage taken by 100% for the duration. The main ability for final summon summons an upheaval. Voidstones awakens, corruption overhaul, damage increased by 25%, and increases all damage done by 20%. Seconds. There's no more effective way to kill him rather than directly killing him by a Mirage charge. Now target 4 players along with detonate. Any voidstone fragments will exactly have them. More tuning, damage reduction. They're nerfing some of the stuff in Rookery. Priory should be pretty good. Percentage is going to be an issue. Reducing healing stacks. Damages on trash. Increasing some, but not much. Or first mini boss. Thunderclap now hits everyone in 50-yard range, but no longer reduces haste. The reflective shield now absorbs 20% more damage and reflects 90% of incoming damage. Was 40%. People are going to kill themselves with that. Voice point damage reduced. Forge, Master, Molten Pool, damage reduced by 30%. Heat Wave, damage reduced. Second boss. Consecration, but unfortunately there was directly nerf. However, there's some nerf to other things. There's other damage reduced, but this is still going to be a problem. This Consecration, that is going to be nerfed. Difficult to do the number of casters and how much damage seems done is the main pain as well in combat with him. He was a ticking aura. The aura has been nerfed at the expense of more tank damage. Okay, so you gotta be careful of him, and tanks are gonna take more damage. Is now increased by 1,000%. Was 300%. You're gonna have to kill them. Those damage reduction. Okay. There's lots of changes, what it seems like, to almost everything. Mechagon Workshop. Ugh. This trash is going to be checked out before it could. Mechagon Tinkerer, the Gillo Whop. 50%. Ranged increased. Defenders, Chain Blades. Honks. Electrical Storm now deals increased damage when the first boss dies until the other one dies. Both bosses now have the ultimate ability, which is cast at 100% energy. Maximum thrust and plating. Doesn't cause massive AoE damage anymore, but players just have to avoid the front. There's no more jets, which is nice. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Nacho flip. Platinum pummels the target. Damage. Slams the ground. The tank is going to be taking damage. Explosive leap damage reduced by 20%. Theater of Pain, reduced cast time for tank busters. So before the first boss, there's going to be lots of changes. Go for it. Wreck the Hardened, Swift, Balance, Whirlwind. So it looks like they're nerfing a lot of stuff in Theater of Pain, but they're also modifying the bosses. Final will, the first boss, final will of fighters absorbed by the remaining contenders, increasing their damage done by 10%, granting them an additional 35. Additional energy 35. Guys, you're gonna want to try to kill them all in a close time frame. One guy's ultimate ability deals more damage to all players over 6 seconds and summons spears or spores on the ground. Another guy's an ultimate ability that now deals AoE damage to all players over 12 seconds. Ultimate ability deals 1 big AoE to all and slows move. Slam, Portal Strike, Plague Bolt. All this stuff is still. Enrage is no longer an rage effect, which means we can't soothe it or trank shot it. So this first boss is really going to be a make or break for most people. I'm kind of worried and scared to see how that ends up going. Gorge Chop. Oozing now loses 3% health per second. Was 5. Okay. Last boss, Drawn Souls. Now walk towards the boss, dealing massive damage if they're hits. Piece to the dam. AoE damage. Constantly places swirlies. Theater of Pain is still not going to be a gimme. It's not going to be a walkthrough. It's still going to be pretty difficult, it looks like. And Motherload is posted this, like, why wait to do this until Monday? Motherload Trash looks pretty much the same. Not much more is going to get changed. Damage reduced for some things. I'm not too worried. This section this section has a lot of trash count back in BFA because you could do relatively big pull here. Realistically, the only major change, Furious Quake is no longer a channel, meaning that you can actually have to kick this ability rather than just stops it. I wonder if you're going to be able to still do big pulls in this area. Third section, this section wasn't played at all in high keys due to the high damage and difficulty of the mobs. The Azerite Injector is now affecting all players, likely meaning this wasn't in BFA. Otherwise, it might still be a rough section. Mind Lash being a random player, being less punishing. So this might be easy. This might be the last area going to the last area of the boss. Kind of intrigued to see how this is. This is the first one. Coin Magnet is now energy based rather than on timer. Rather than whatever gold is nearby. This is a great change. You would eventually run out of space and you're forced to pick gold. In addition, kicking a football into the ball's removes stacks too. So it looks like pay to win is increased damage. So this stuff doesn't look too bad. Second boss, Does not look bad. Looks very similar to what it was. Same thing with Flux Flame and Local Rouse Dunk. Introduced redemptions. That shouldn't be too bad. And this is just lots of information that they just posted on Operation Floodgate, Dungeon Journal, and PTR. It's going to talk about what stuff is dropping. Mythic here, Mythic Plus. Some mail, leather, int trinkets, into Warglaive. Not too bad. So, overall, I don't think... I should say, overall, it's going to definitely be an interesting season, to say the least. And make sure you hit that sub button here so you can see what's going on and see how interesting this season is going to be. Every single Monday through Friday, we're going to be here on Twitch.tv and YouTube. We're going to be ending up doing keys between now and Season 2. And hopefully you hit that subscribe button and hit like. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, we can go through it. If you want me to end up... If I end up having a big thing like this, again, I can end up splitting it up and we can talk about it then. So hopefully I'll see you all soon. Good luck on your vaults this week. Green Bay, keep gaming. Have a fun night. And make sure you check out our other channels and stuff here too. So thanks again, everyone. Bye. Have a good night.